Every day, appalling actions are taken by predators against the most vulnerable in our society, our children. The harm done to these young victims affects their lives forever. Today, we will highlight what a typical month looks like for our investigators and analysts and share statistics of what is happening in Ontario. The Provincial Strategy to Protect Children from Sexual Abuse and Exploitation on the Internet, also known as the Provincial Strategy, brings 27 police services and 2 ministries into one cohesive team to combat these crimes. Since the start of the Provincial Strategy in 2006, we have seen a massive increase in cases, arrests, and charges. For more than a decade, the police services represented here have worked together to address a crime that has no boundaries and that respects no jurisdiction. We have one goal: to combat child sexual abuse and exploitation. We can only do that through a collaborative and authentic approach, as these investigations take us all over the province and beyond. This is not about individual services. Rather, it is about a team of police services pooling their resources and sharing intelligence to save children and to hold those who want to harm them accountable. We are fighting, but we are not doing so alone. Our Canadian and international policing partners provide support in this battle. Our work with the Canadian Centre for Child Protection, Boost Child and Youth Advocacy Centre, and cybertip.ca are vital, as they provide resources for the public and another way to report these crimes. Detective Inspector Weitzel will share a breakdown of the October statistics from our partners, a glimpse into what our investigators deal with every day.
Thank you, Chief Superintendent Dart. The statistics I'm about to share are not from a typical investigation. Rather, they showcase the work done in 1 month by the Provincial Strategy policing partners in Ontario. I want to remind everyone that these statistics relate to the abuse and exploitation of children, some who are too young to even speak. In October 2022, our Provincial Strategy policing agencies have identified 61 victims, conducted 255 investigations, executed 168 warrants, and seized 1,032 electronic devices. We've arrested 107 people and laid 428 charges. We also safeguarded 60 children. These numbers are staggering, and since the Provincial Strategy began 16 years ago, they have been increasing. Our work is not done. As we move forward, we have 175 ongoing investigations where additional charges may be laid. This is a snapshot of 1 month out of the year to show that everyone has a role to play when it comes to protecting our children. If you are watching this and you have information about a child being abused online, take this as a sign to report it to the police or cybertip.ca. You can make a difference. You can change a child's life. These numbers show that we can help, that there is hope. For those out there who are the ones abusing children, we have a message for you as well. We are coming for you, and we will hold you accountable. The Toronto Police Service will now share some information on how far we are going to protect children.
As part of this important provincial strategy, the Toronto Police Service has investigated several occurrences of child sexual abuse materials in the city. These offenses include the luring and self-exploitation of young persons, sextortions, and the possession, accessing, and distribution of child pornography through social media. While we typically investigate these offenses in Toronto, online sexual offenses have no borders. Strategy partners are engaged from all over the world to assist one another. We do not stop within our own jurisdiction. Our dedicated investigators, analysts, and digital forensic technicians go to great lengths to hold those who are sexually exploiting children accountable for their actions. One case from October that highlights the joint efforts of our Internet child exploitation officers involved the arrest of a prolific darknet offender. Members of the Toronto Police Service, with the assistance of our international partners, identified a person of interest on the dark web who was planning to kidnap and abuse young children. Members of the OPP began an investigation into the person's location, while a member of the Toronto Police engaged the person of interest online in an undercover capacity. Officers were able to identify the offender, and members of both the Toronto Police Service and the OPP's Child Sexual Exploitation Unit traveled to a remote Northern Ontario community to execute several search warrants. The offender was located, arrested, and charged with multiple child sexual abuse offenses. These high numbers share the story of a much larger problem. The exploitation of children is sadly increasing. Through the Provincial Strategy, we are working together to do everything we can to ensure to keep our children safe. Niagara Regional Police Service will now provide more information on the offenders.
We are seeing a real age range when it comes to offenders. Through Project Maverick, the 107 offenders arrested ranged in age from 18 to 86 years of age. These offenders are choosing to sexually abuse or exploit a child, some of the most vulnerable victims within our society that we must ensure are protected. Just as the accused persons range in age, they come from all types of professions. The sad reality is that they are living in our community. As parents and caregivers, we have to ensure that we're talking to our kids and remaining vigilant to ensure children are not victimized in the first place. Everyone, parents and caregivers, have a role to play in this. There's a wide variety of information available at cybertip.ca, needhelpnow.ca, or the Canadian Centre for Child Protection, which can help educate you or help you talk to kids about predators. To ignore a child being abused makes you complicit, but we can change that. If you see something, report it. Peel Regional Police will highlight our seizures.
I want to take this opportunity to highlight the outstanding work of our members on both the frontline and investigative teams working to combat child internet exploitation in our communities. Project Maverick is the result of a provincial strategy that provides the Peel Regional Police with the support that helps us successfully conduct investigations, rescue abused children, and most importantly, prevent further abuse. This investigation has resulted in the seizure of over 1,000 electronic devices utilized to commit these crimes. Investigations where we analyze evidence of child sexual abuse or luring are highly complex. Every image seized represents a child's life endangered by someone at the other end of a computer screen. When we rescue victims, they receive financial assistance with provincially funded counseling and support. The Digital Forensic Services team utilizes various investigative forensic tools and techniques to identify offenders and child exploitation survivors and prosecute those responsible for these crimes. Ontario's provincial strategy to combat internet child exploitation and pornography recognizes that these crimes can be committed anywhere a computer is found. Together with our law enforcement partners and our community members, we will continue to enhance our strategies of bringing together education, investigation, and prosecution to help keep our children safe. We will never stop fighting against internet child exploitation.
A critical piece of this provincial strategy is identifying and safeguarding child victims of online sexual exploitation. We are the voice for the most vulnerable members of society, some of whom are even too young to speak. When we talk about the term safeguarding, 3 components are key: identification, education, and support. Working alongside our extensive team of partners, social media organizations, and other police agencies, we work to identify child victims of online sexual exploitation. Once identified, we work to educate victims and guardians on internet safety and ways to protect children from further abuse. Finally, we provide meaningful support through a number of organizations and services. Collectively, this October alone, we have safeguarded 60 children and identified 61 victims of internet-based child sexual exploitation. That's 121 families affected by these reprehensible crimes. Now, thanks to the work of our teams, those 121 families can get the support they need to heal and to move forward with their lives. We will continue to do everything in our power to identify further victims and hold those responsible for perpetrating these crimes accountable. If you or a child you know has been victimized online, there is help available. Information and tips can be sent to cybertip.ca. You can even remain anonymous. If you or anyone you know has concerns about the well-being of a child, please reach out. We are always here to help.